Hello, everybody. So the news is out, folks. Random House, the publisher behind Prince Harry's bombshell memoir, Spare, has just confirmed the date for the paperback release. It is slated to be ready for release on the 22nd of October. I cannot wait as usual. I can't wait. But you know that with anything that has to do with the successes, cue the toxic British media losing their ever loving minds. At the moment, they are throwing out all sorts of theories, scrambling to undermine what's coming. But let's take a moment to savor this, shall we? Harry and Meghan are still playing chess while the media is stuck on checkers. What do I mean? You're going to find out in this video. First, let me say hello to everyone. Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel. I'm Wheezy and it is great to be here this evening. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day as well. All right, let us continue. I don't intend to keep you long this evening. In fact, I want to see how well we can do with time. All right. First up in the parade of meltdowns that have occurred since the announcement was made was Richard Eden. Have you guys noticed that he seems to have taken over as the Sussex's main online troll? He just continues to spew his usual venom. He says, more whining, as if anyone takes him seriously anymore. Like, seriously, who takes Richard Eden seriously? More whining, he says. Look at Richard Eden's talking. The man is so pained by anything Harry and Meghan do. It's almost like he's got a personal vendetta or something because he's just salty. And I think it's partly because the Sussexes have refused to acknowledge him in any way, shape, or form. And it's also possibly because he needs to fill his daily mail quota for the newspaper, right? So just last month, he had claimed that there wouldn't be any paperback release, only for us to hear now the news that there will indeed be a paperback release. What do you make of that? Oh, dear, I love how embarrassed they are now going to have to be. And then the other person who has not dropped her gauntlet for one moment is Camilla Tomini. Yes, she just continues to be bitter, 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 bitter for no reason. Not to be outdone, sh- she has decided that she's going to be fanning the flames after Eden's blunder, where he had already said like 3 weeks ago that there wasn't going to be any paperback release, and then now the publishers announcing that there will be a paperback release, she went on to this morning to spread more lies. She suggested that there could be a second part to Harry's memoir. But what I found interesting while she was on the This Morning show, they're just so confused, they're just making noise. At this point, if you are believing what the toxic British media are saying, it's just because you want to believe it, because the truth is right in front of you. While they were complaining about the paperback version being released, they also complained that there wasn't going to be any new content in the paperback release. So, what is it? Which is it, guys? They're so incoherent. It's laughable. It's so funny to watch. Anyway, before we proceed further, let me pause for a second. If you're new here and you're loving the way we break down the nonsense, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, seriously. No, for real, for real. Please do it now. um, when you're a viewer and not a content creator, you don't realize how important your subscription is to the channels that you enjoy watching. So please do us a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And for my loyal day ones, you know the drill. Like, share, and drop a comment. Let's show the world that we're not just watching, we're actively supporting Harry and Meghan every step of the way. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. Is there are we going to be expecting new content in the paperback version? The media wants you to think that there isn't any new content to be expected, in which case there is no point in purchasing the paperback version, right? But have Prince Harry or Random House said that there wouldn't be any new content? I have gone onto the Random House promo page for Spare, and guess what? There's not a single word on there about there not being any new information in the paperback. This leads me to believe that the British media is just trying to sabotage the sales of the paperback version ahead of time. They are preempting. Especially since the paperback version is supposed to be more accessible, given that it's paperback, and so that means it's going to be more cheaper than the hardback version. But they have completely refused to let the Sussexes do their thing and mind their business. But here's the kicker: even if they manage to sabotage the sale of the paperback version in the UK, can they really stop the book from making waves globally? The Sussexes are global now. Yes, the Sussexes are global icons now, and their reach extends beyond the British press's limited influence. Plus, the idea that Harry would turn down money from selling TV rights. We heard that story from the media, didn't we? At this point, I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe that um, I don't believe that Harry turned down an opportunity to sell the rights to Spare. I completely believe that there is every possibility that there was a deal about that which we don't know about yet. Yes. And because it makes zero sense for him not to agree to sell the TV rights to Spare. It doesn't make any sense for him not to maximize his profits. Annie Bullard says Random House admitted there is no new content. I went onto their website and I checked, and I didn't see any statement to that effect. So, where did you get your information from? Not challenging, just questioning because I checked. Annie Bullard, where did you get your information from? Because I went onto their website and I checked. I checked on their Twitter page as well. I didn't see anything like that. The only place, aha, another squad it. It is possible that they didn't check the website. It's possible they didn't check the website. It's possible that they didn't check Random House's Twitter page. The only place this that the information about there being no new content is in the news reports. So it is very possible. Another Squaddies channel. She's very reliable. I don't doubt that, Annie. What I'm saying is that I went onto the Random Houses website and I checked. Actually, I can do that right now while we're talking so that you will see what I mean. And there was nothing about there being no new content. If you look at it, uh, this is the problem when there is an influx of information and um, widespread distribution of that information, because it does tend to distort. Uh, it does tend to distort people's awareness and knowledge of what's going on. So, actually, you know what? As I said, let's do that now. Spare Random House Spare Random House. And just going to the page. Oh, let me see. Let me go to it from the Twitter page of the Random House. Yup. And just a second. I am just going to. I am. Annie, can you stop typing in all caps? Otherwise, I assume you're yelling, and I'm not understanding why you would need to yell. We're just having a conversation. We're just having a conversation. We're just chatting. This is the Random House website. You see this? This is their promo for the spare. And I just got this from their Twitter page. Spare coming soon in paperback, October 22nd, 2024. Discover the global phenomenon now in paperback, and it just gives you the excerpt. There's nothing on here. There's nothing on here about there being no new information. So if Prince Harry didn't say it and Random House didn't say it, that means that what the media are saying about there being no new content is untrue. Wheezy, I'm not yelling, just reasonable conversation. Okay, Annie, no problem. As I was saying, this information I'm giving you this is directly from the publisher's website. This is what you're looking at on the screen right now. You see, there's no information about there not being any new content in the paperback version that we're expecting. There is nothing like that. I also checked their Twitter accounts. They have several Twitter accounts. They've got the Canada version, the Random House group. They have Random House, like 7 or 8 different accounts. And there is nothing like that on there. So I'm afraid that unless I hear it from Prince Harry or Random House, it's not true. And as a matter of fact, if you look at it strategy wise, Connie Balmer says, Isabella, does writing in capital letters mean shouting? Just asking because I've never heard of it. I thought sometimes one is comfortable writing big letters. Yes, generally speaking, when you are typing with capital letters, it means that you are beginning to yell. It could also mean for people perhaps who normally write with big letters that you're writing it in caps because you are comfortable writing in caps. But the general take when people see you writing in capital letters all through is that you are shouting. Then, if someone says, are you shouting? Then you can just generally say, no, I'm just comfortable writing in big letters, perhaps because you're beginning to have issues with your eyesight, and writing in caps just means it is better for you and easier for you. But generally, when you write in caps, it's taken as being like you're being a bit aggressive. Yep. Anyway, Annie says that's strange because I'd never heard of it either. Anyway, uh, it's very possible that you wouldn't have heard of it. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on from that because that's leaving us in that's taking we're going round and round in circles and taking us away from the point. The point is what I was saying was that the people are been reporting that there's no new content. And Camilla Tominey, she went on to This Morning to talk about it today and complained that the paperback version was going to be coming out, and then they say that there's no new content. And if you think about it strategically, these are people who are working against the Sussexes. So if they've taken the time out of their lives to go on to a morning show to complain that a book is coming out, and then they complain, well, there's no new information in the book, then if you're thinking strategically, then you would see that the reason for them to say that there's no information in the paperback version is because they don't want people to go out and buy it. What's the motivation to buy the book if there's going to be the same information that there was in the spare, which has already been released? Which is kind of the way I think about it. But you might have a different view. But when I think about it, I think that it suits their agenda for them to say that there's no new information expected from the book. And that's all I am saying on that matter. All right, so I'm clicking out of I'm clicking out of the Random House website now. I'm going back to the presentation. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So, anyway, even if they think that they're trying to sabotage the sale of the spare paperback in the UK, can they stop the book from making waves globally? I mean, even if they don't have many people to buy the book, they've already made friends with Colombia, they've made friends with Nigeria, right? So the Sussexes are global now. There's nothing that they can do about them, and their reach extends far beyond the British press's limited influence. Plus, the idea that Harry would turn down money from selling TV rights from his story, please, I don't believe that. He has no reason not to, right? Um, he's already created the work. The whole point of making some kind of creative work is to repurpose it and make as much money from the original content as possible. Why not? It's the same story, just told in many different forms. So he's not doing anything new. This is my thought anyway. So um this is my thought anyway. Uh And let's talk about the rumors of Harry and Meghan being desperate to make peace with the palace. I don't know how many times Harry is going to make it clear that there is not going to be any reconciliation until the palace acknowledges the truth of the matter, offers their apology, gives him his security. Like the list goes on. Meanwhile, King Charles can take his spiritual nourishment and keep it to himself because the reality is that the palace needs the Sussexes right now more than the Sussexes need the palace. I just really love and enjoy the way Harry and Meghan pushed themselves to develop themselves even more after they stepped down, which has put them in a very enviable position right now where they're able to negotiate their own terms. Lovely, lovely, absolutely lovely, absolutely lovely. As you guys know, whenever the Sussexes are doing anything in public, it sets the teeth of the British media on edge, right? So now that we're expecting the paperback version of the book, I wonder whether you guys would be game to do some activism today. It's just very gentle activism. It's nothing that's going to get you to engage with the derangers. Who's game? If you're game, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Who's game? Martin, who is game for some gentle activism? I didn't even realize when I moved away from doing the gentle activism, that we used to do. I didn't realize when I moved away from it. I think I became overwhelmed. I tried to change the days of uploading, but it didn't work out so well. And for some reason, the days that I got used to my former days of uploading, which was Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, somehow I tried to change it from to Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but that makes no sense in my brain. When I try to think about it, I fail every time. So, somehow I've been kicked in the butt and motivated and inspired now to go ahead to revitalize, reactivate the the days that we used to upload and the things we used to do on those days. So I think we can bring him back now. Okay. Uh so okay, I will look at the chat. I will look at the chat. But before I do that, let me tell you what I am proposing that we do. So I have dropped the Twitter page for those people. This is mainly for those people who are on Twitter. I think that it will be beneficial if we went to Random House, who are Harry's publishers, and gave them a follow. What do we think? It seems very small. It doesn't cost us money. But the thing is that these people, they value those numbers more than we think. And I know that they will definitely notice a spike in followers and they will know what happened on the day that they experienced the spike. And they will know that anything that has to do with Harry and Meghan means that they're going to have more eyeballs on them. So while you are here, if you go to the top of the chat, I have pinned the Twitter page of Random House to the top of the page. Just click it, go there, and give them a follow. That's the activism task that we have for the day. That's the main task. Now, if you want to be, if you want to go a bit further, you can while you're on there following the page, you can go ahead and actually like the post that they made announcing that there would be a paperback version of Spare. It's very easy to find. It's very easy to find on their page. So you can easily find it. This is what you will see when you go to their page. Okay. And if you want to be a superstar, once you have followed their page, liked this post, just repost it. Click on repost. Let them get as many reposts on this post as possible. What do you guys think? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make a wave. Let's make a wave. Let's make a wave. Uh let's make a wave. Okay? So what is the task? At the top of, if you go to the top of the chat, there is the link to Harry's publisher on there. All we're doing is following the page. That is if you're on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, don't feel left out. Since I am trying to put together a list of things we can do until the court case in January, one task every day. I'll come up with it. I just think it is fun to do, and there's so much pushback. And I know that a lot of people like send me emails and say, "What can we do? What can we do in between?" So if we come up with gentle things that we can do that don't hurt your mental state and make you feel like you're doing something, why not? So if you're on Twitter, today is for you. Just go to the top of the screen, scroll down, and there is a second link also. The second link is to the actual posts. The post is that one that you're seeing on the screen. Just follow, like the post, and repost on Twitter. That's it. That's it. And I will try to make sure that I include as many tasks on many different platforms as possible so that, we are using this opportunity to move things forward and boosting the engagement of those people who support Harry and Meghan. At least it's affordable, right, for us because it's free. But it's important to them that they have followers, subscribers, and they have engagement on their pages. So if we can make the Sussexes valuable to them in that way, then that's great. I see that a huge chunk of people have left the chat to go and do it. That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for participating. That's great. All right. Uh, so I am thinking about something. I am thinking about doing something. And I think that since we're expecting a review, we're expecting a paperback version of Spare in October, that we should do a Spare review. And once we are done with the review of Spare, then we can do a quiz again. And this time we will try to make sure that we have prizes so that it will be more fun and a bit more competitive. This time it will be a bit more fun, of course. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much, Sussex Love. Thank you very much. Thank you very much uh, for the super sticker. And I am only on YouTube. And hi Lottie, are you on Twitter? If you're on Twitter, you can click on the link and just follow the page. Click on the post. You will see the post. It's got this image on it. Just like the post. And then if you want to be a superstar, go ahead and repost the post. That's the task. That's the task. They value subscribers, there's value engagement. So if we are giving them that support, then it makes the Sussexes all the more valuable to them. Lottie says if Lady Rose don't Oh, I am sure that we will all keep an eye on Lady Rose going forward. But yeah, the idea is that if we the hardback version of the Spare was 416 pages. When I did the review before, I actually split it into, I think it was like nine nine episodes. So, with that said, if we do the 9 episodes and at the end of it do a quiz, I think it would be so fun. It'd be so fun. Uh, still debating the issue of whether there is going to be new information in the paperback. Mhm. I agree with you. Also, additional information would mean that the paperback version is a new edition, not just a reprint. Well, okay, we'll see. We shall see. But I think that generally speaking, even the toxic British media admitted that when a paperback version is released, it usually comes with new information. So I don't know. But the point of it is that they said for certain that the paperback version was coming with no new information. Whereas there is no evidence to prove that. There is no evidence to prove that it would be. Where did they get that information from? Is my point. Where did they get it from? And it serves their own agenda if they say it's coming with no new information, which means there is no reason to buy it, right? So I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I am just here watching everything and forming my own opinion on it. You are welcome to have your own opinion also. All right. How many people actually went to Random House to follow their page? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat, please? And how many people? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat? Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat? Let's see. Let's see. How many people are feeling energized, or are you feeling tired of the entire thing? Are you feeling Dawn says, did you all listen in on my conversation with my husband today? We also discussed if it's normal for the paperback to include new information. It's kind of literally, it seems like we were in your sitting room or we were flies on the wall while you were having the conversation, Dawn. Thank you very much for everybody who went to the Random House page to give them a boost. If you haven't gone, don't feel tired. Get up, woman up if you're a woman, man up if you're a man. Referencing my post from my short from yesterday. And get up and do something. Just let's not just sit here complaining about the situation. Let's try our best to do something about it. All right. The plan is not to keep you here for too long today. So that's all I have for the Sussex news. Let me have a look at the comments. And so I'm scrolling back. Um, Connie says, "Oh my God, I'm suppose uh, people have explained that capital letters does mean shouting, but I think it's looking like this may be a cultural thing, which is always something to put into consideration. That one thing may apply in your region, but it's something different in another region. So I think patience in how we deal with each other really does help a lot. But this is the reason why I don't just ignore it, because then um, annoyance may build within me, and then I begin to speak. speak spicy, and I don't want to be doing that. I rather speak up, and then we resolve it like it's been resolved. And it's quite clear that this may be a culture clash where I'm saying, if you're writing in caps, that means that you are shouting, and you say, what did you say? Where I'm from, it means nothing. So I think to be elegant, we need to respect each other's culture. Now we know what the differences are. Um, Dawn says, I assume caps mean excitement, either good or bad, or but I think it depends on what's being written. Lottie says, I never write in capital letters. Uh, and do they have any other news in London that they can report on? Harry and Meghan live in Montecito, not London. For real. For real. You would think that Harry and Meghan still lived in the UK. The amount of time that they are still on the front pages of the newspapers here. But they're the ones who drive the sales. They still use them to sell their newspapers for clicks and so on and so forth. So yeah. Yep, 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 yep. Connie says, I'm not on media except YouTube. It's enough for me. Seems to me if there was new information, okay, I've read that already. All right. Okay. Uh, Whether or not the paperback has any new information, I'm still going to buy a few copies and give them as gifts. I'm going to help promote the sale of the book. For real, for real. Tanya says all caps is shouting in the corporate world. Well, this is exactly where I'm coming from. That's my background as well, corporate world, and that's what I know it has been. So I'm actually even surprised that people don't realize that writing in all caps is seen as aggressive. But then again, not everybody is in the corporate world, so it's also not surprising. So I shouldn't actually say it's surprising. Did you discuss Harry's trip to New York City in September? Oh, I wasn't even aware that he's going to New York in September. What's happening? What's happening? The royal family and their racist dogs need to leave the Sussexes alone and move on. I will check out the information of Harry's trip to New York in September. That would be fun. Uh, I'm sure that will be after his birthday, perhaps. Hi, Joyce. How are you? How good to see you. You're here just as we are ending today's podcast. Just Just as we are ending today's podcast, you are joining us. Anyway, guys, Annie, what are you saying? You said then I guess people in the corporate world have a lot of users. Anyway, never mind. That's all I have for the today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and I hope you enjoyed the gentle task. And my next video will be on Thursday and we'll be doing a spotlight Thursday. So if you want the spotlight to be shone on you, please go ahead, contact me by email. My email is in the about page is in the about page of my YouTube channel so that we can have a conversation and you will tell me how you want me to present you to everyone and we can support your channel. Of course, you know that one of the values of this channel is that we rise by lifting others up. All right. Sussex Love says it's so funny to me when people say see caps and they get upset due to yelling. The thought of capital letters and people upset about yelling. There is no yelling volume. Like I said, I think we always disagree on certain things, especially when it's cultural. I feel like we need to expand our understanding, and tolerance perhaps is the word, tolerance for what is applicable to people from different regions. And when we do, then it makes life a lot easier, because what operates in your region of the world doesn't operate in another place. So for you to then say it's funny to you, it makes it seem like you're being dismissive. I understand what you're saying, but this is one of the benefits. I have learned so much being on this channel, relating with people from different places, American people, Canadian people, Australian people, and the different nuances that come with our daily lives, and how to respect and relate with people in a way that makes everyone comfortable. So, this is one of the things and things that I gain from actually doing these podcasts, seeing what operates in other people's regions and understanding their cultures. After all, we're not here to bash everybody's culture, is it? So if I come to America and I see something you're doing, something the way it's cultural for you to do it, it's not for me to dismiss it out of hand, but simply to respect it and say, oh, where I come from, we don't do it like that. But if it makes you comfortable, okay, I'm going to do it XYZ. As long as it's not hurting me, what's the big deal? Right? Anyway, thank you so much for being here, folks. Um, Thank you, Joyce. You do such an excellent job. I love your shady side. I love. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I really appreciate you and all your commentary. That's what it's all about: exchange of ideas, exchange and learning every single second. Thank you so much. Until next time, this is Wheezy signing out. And let me know. I think I'm going to do a poll after this podcast about the quiz, for you to let me know whether you actually want the quiz or not. So stay curious, stay informed, and let's keep this conversation going. Ciao.